With a serial killer on the loose, will Wallace and Gromit end up toast? It's a matter of life and death on BBC One at 5:15. Right now, though, final score with Gabby Logan.
United 0, trying to avoid relegation.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wimbledon.
Go through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears we all remember. It was 2 crucial weeks.
We're certainly playing well. A lot of teams look over their shoulder now, and the crowd can certainly play a huge part in it.
Certainly we still need to win 4 games and draw one probably to give ourselves any chance. When there's 5 games left, you still got to keep believing you can do it.
We're in a difficult situation, aren't we? A challenging situation. The last thing you do is just turn your back on things or throw the towel in. You work very hard on the training ground and you go again.
We do not have to look at other teams. We just continue to play the way we play with the same spirit and go even from strength to strength in every single game.
A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Final Score. Lots of action taking place in the Premier League and Football League with relegation and promotion issues on the line. Fates and futures could be decided this afternoon. Garth, Crooks and Neil Warnock have been discussing all that's been happening for the past hour or so on the red button. 2 men, I'll tell you, not shy of sharing opinions, which makes life very easy for the humble host. Now, if you've got any questions for these two, tweet them using the hashtag BBC Football and get involved via the live text on the BBC Sport website as well. Let's bring you right up to date with what's been happening, first of all, in the Premier League this afternoon. 5 games for you playing at the moment, and it's not a single goal anywhere. So you've actually missed nothing if you've just tuned in. I'm sure they're all going to come flooding in now. Cazorla and the returning Jack Wilshere pulling the strings for the in-form Arsenal, who are cruising despite not having a goal at the moment at the Emirates. Giroud also glanced a header onto the bar. Villa, Fulham, scrappy. Tense start there at Villa Park. The in-form Berbatov doesn't think spring has sprung. He's wearing gloves at the moment. Goalless, of course, as well at Goodison Park. Desperate times for QPR. Leighton Baines whipping in crosses, though, for Everton, and Fellaini is back as well. And nothing going on at the moment at the Majewski. The Royals' Premier League crown is slipping away, isn't it? It's all Liverpool in Berkshire at the moment. Gunter brilliantly headed off the line after a typically deft Suarez chip. And the Saints are looking to get their 4th win in a row, but Ramirez and Joey O'Brien are niggling at each other like a pair of schoolboys in the playground at the moment. Pleased to tell you there have been goals in the Championship. Let's move on to have a look at some of the key games there. The leaders Cardiff are ahead at home against Nottingham Forest through Heider Helgeson's goal. Ipswich are trailing Hull City, who are of course in 2nd place at the moment, thanks to Robbie Brady's penalty. Blackburn Rovers with a desperately needed goal and lead against Derby County. Jordan Rhodes 23rd of the season, putting struggling Blackburn 1 goal to the good. Wolves 1, Huddersfield Town 1. It's 4th from bottom against 5th from bottom. Barnsley 0, Charlton 2. Bad news for relegation threatened Barnsley, trailing there to Charlton. And it was the Scottish Cup semi-final today. There were 2 taking place this weekend. The first one today between Hibs and Falkirk. What a game. It was 3-3 after 90 minutes. Lee Griffiths double saw Hibs edge, though, the seesawing semi-cup final, or cup semi-final even, say it whichever way you will, Gabby, at Hampden Park. They had been 3-0 down at half-time, Hibs, but it certainly was a game of 2 halves. And Dundee United play Celtic tomorrow to decide who are going to play Hibs in their 2nd successive final. Let's have a quick recap then on what we've seen so far. As we've mentioned, no goals in the Premier League. All these games arguably have teams who've still got concerns of relegation, 3 perhaps more than the others, Reading, QPR and Villa. Is it a sign of the times? They've got 6 games to go. They're desperate.
No, you looking at the game, Gabby, there's some cracking games. Arsenal-Norwich, cracking game. Tempo, full on. Southampton, West Ham, full on. West Ham has started as they finished at Liverpool for me last week. Really, really intense game. QPR, Everton, full on.
It's an open game, yeah. It's a cracking game, end-to-end stuff. It's just that, there's a couple of opportunities that Everton have squandered, but it's a wide-open game.
Goals in the Championship, though, and it's the top two. Sorry, Garth, the top two in the Championship who are leading at the moment. And we've mentioned that the way that nobody apart from Cardiff seems to have been able to put runs together, but those two don't seem to be cracking at the moment under the pressure, under the weight of expectation.
No, they don't. I think Cardiff have more than got enough up the sleeve, really. Everybody's helped them. Last few weeks they've stuttered, and other teams have never took the opportunity to catch them up. So, I think they'll go on and comfortably win it now. The team this afternoon, Bolton scoring early on, in the playoff, they're having a great run, and they've got an outside chance. With Forest losing today at Cardiff, they've got a great chance of sneaking in the playoffs. Dougie Friedman.
And as the day started today, 13 teams in the Championship could not mathematically discount relegation as a possibility. What does that tell you about the Championship? It's open, it's competitive, as is that relegation battle in the Premier League still at the moment. Villa Park, Ivan Gaskell. Villa, of course, with that great home record against Fulham. They've got this fantastic goal scoring as well. The stats have proved that in the last few months, Villa, but no goals yet.
No, I would say, though, that Paul Lambert would possibly settle for this because Villa are looking to avoid making this 17 games without a clean sheet. 16 they have gone since they last kept a clean sheet. So, 38 minutes into this first half, I think Paul Lambert will be relatively comfortable with what he's seen so far. The game yet to really come alive. What chances there have been limited, but they've gone to Villa. Benteke with a shot he could have done better with from 8 yards out, and Zogby a volleying which forced a fine save from Schwarzer from close range. And Loughton, remember that fantastic goal last week? Well, the whole crowd, every time he's got the ball, even in the full-back position, have inevitably shouted as one, shoot, and he had a go from 30 yards just like last week. This time he caught it well, but it flew wide. So Villa looking the more likely, but it's 0-0 so far.
Thanks, Ivan. Let's go to Goodison Park. QPR at the moment don't seem to be able to conjure a Harry Houdini escape, do they, Damien Johnson? But Everton have still got their eye on a European prize. It should be competitive, this one, is it?
It's very competitive, and QPR have been very good. They've defended well, sprung forward on occasions as well, and had probably the best two chances of the match. Loic Remy with an instinctive first-time effort forced a save from Howard. Hoylett curled a shot wide of the post. Everton have had most of the ball, but can't really make it pay. There are little battles, scuffles all over the field. It's like Ali Frazier, the battle between Anachabi and Samba, as they contest every ball. Battle for every high kick into the area, but Everton just can't really make their possession pay at the moment. 0-0.
Thank you. Let's go to the Madejski Stadium. Reading all but down and out, you'd think, Jason Mohammed. Do they look like a team that are beaten?
Well, Gabby, they're not helping themselves at all today. They're just giving the ball away to Liverpool, and I have to say that Liverpool have played some very attractive one-touch football. Luis Suarez, as you would expect, at the heart of it. A Suarez chip cleared off the line by Chris Gunter very early on. Daniel Sturridge had a shot saved by Alex McCarthy in the Reading goal. Philippe Coutinho is a delightful footballer, isn't he? His shot also tipped around by McCarthy. Jamie Carragher's free header from the resulting corner also going just over. Daniel Sturridge has just hit another shot over the bar. It's all Liverpool here. It's Reading 0, Liverpool 0, 4 minutes to go.
Thank you. In League Two, Bradford have taken the lead against Chesterfield. Bradford still with an eye on the playoffs. Let's go to the Emirates. Nigel Adley is there for us. And Arsenal silky smooth but unable to convert.
Absolutely, Gabby. Yeah, the rain is incessant here, and so too has been Arsenal's attacking, but they're yet to score a goal. But they've carved out so many chances in the first half. Ramsey almost played in by Wilshere's flick, but the ball just skidded on in the wet conditions through to Bunn, the goalkeeper. Sanya's cross onto the right was glanced onto the bar by Giroud. Cazorla then played in Gervinho, who sprinted away clean through, rounded the goalkeeper, but his first touch was heavy, and from a tight angle he rolled the ball across the goal line and away for a goal kick. And Sanya's near post ball a few moments ago flicked on by Giroud, but Bunn again was there to scrape it away. The one booking so far is for Bakary Sanya for pulling back Snodgrass. I think he was shocked they were in the Arsenal half. It's 0-0.
Thank you, Nigel. Sheffield United have taken the lead against Swindon. Of course, Danny Wilson left during the week. Chris Morgan, caretaker at the moment. It's just gone off the video printer. A chance to talk to you about potentially... Oh, OK, all right.
Sorry?
Nice deflection.
Sorry,
nice deflection. Let's go to the Goodison Park for a goal. Damien Johnson.
It's gone to Everton. They've turned that possession into goals. It's a deflected effort from Darren Gibson. It was coming, I think. There was a bit of pressure building at the Queen's Park Rangers end of the ground. They defended very well up until that point, but Gibson got a bit of luck. The ball played into him, actually played in and deflected out to him, but it hit a defender on the way through. I think it was Clint Hill, and Everton lead 1-0.
Thank you, Damien. Not good for QPR.
It's a deflection. Comes off Clint Hill, and Neil, we looked at each other again. To be fair to him, he is getting in the way, but he can't stop the block. And to some extent, there's 3 or 4 players. Samba's in there, Hill's in there, and I don't think Cesar can get a clear sight of the strike.
That's when you're down the bottom end. Things like that go. You know, they've had a couple of chances in the other box, and it's gone straight to an Everton player. You know, you just tend to look like that when you're struggling, don't you? The ricochets go the other way.
Don't think I'm not going to come back to you and ask you whether you fancy a crack at the Blades again.
Oh, no.
Let's go, though, to the top of the Championship. Cardiff City, all but there, Ian Hunt. Are they cruising now?
Not exactly, Gabby. You wouldn't say that. Nottingham Forest presenting a stern test to Cardiff's ambition to all but guarantee promotion to the Premier League. They could do that if things stay as they are. Cardiff leading and Watford, I believe, losing against Peterborough. They lead by a Heider Helgeson goal on 25 minutes. Craig Bellamy's free kick whipped in, and Helgeson with the headed goal. And you have to say, though, Forest have had plenty of chances to draw level here. David Marshall had to make a very good save from Henri Lansbury after 35 minutes. Henderson could have poked the ball into an empty net. It was an almighty scramble inside the box then. Forest have had their chances. 2 classy sides going at it here. A little bit tight and tense. 5 minutes to go until half-time, but Cardiff do lead by a goal to 0.
Well, Forest, of course, have drawn their last 3, so you wouldn't rule out them getting back into that game. Let's go to London Road, though, because Watford are losing. Mark Webber, tell us more.
Peterborough 1, Watford 0. Peterborough have slayed more Giants here than David on double overtime. Watford looking like the latest top side to be humbled. The Posh 1-0 up. Dwight Gale, edge of the area, thread the ball very well to Danny Swanson in. He turned and calmly shot. Watford have missed a sitter for Estreri, tripped over the ball right in front of Alejnik. Troy Deeney thought he had a penalty. He appealed for it. He got a yellow for his trouble. So this game is still playable. It is still open. But at the moment, Peterborough in the ascendancy, 1-0.
He's done a brilliant job, Gabby, Darren Ferguson, because they were out of it after 10 games, and nobody gave him a prayer, and he's just turned it around, made a couple of signings, and they're fabulous to watch.
They have had an incredible. They've gone 8 games unbeaten. They've got this incredible kind of season of 2 halves, haven't they?
They have, yeah, and you know, he doesn't change his philosophies, and the chairman, in fairness to him, he supported him as well, you know, and
only lost 3 games since the turn of the year. Which the only matches Cardiff and Brighton have got as good a record. OK, is it going to be enough, though, for them? We'll see. Let's go to Portman Road. It looks like Mick McCarthy's done enough for Ipswich to survive this season, Robbie Bailey, but is he doing enough at the moment to bring them back into this game? Second place, Hull with the lead.
Well, it's a good game. Ipswich are coming back, and they're doing their best, but Hull are the better side. 2 minutes before the break. And really, the Tigers' bright, inventive football paying off at the moment. The breakthrough in the 28th minute, of course, when David Myler, back in the team today, went on that marauding run and was pushed over by the clumsy Guarini in door. Robbie Brady kept his nerve from the spot. And that was the first goal conceded by Ipswich in 5 games. Before that, Jax Hobbs had a chance. Scott Loach in the Ipswich goal has saved brilliantly twice, once from Chester and once from his own player, Richard Stearman, when I was last on. But at the moment, Hull on the attack with a corner, and it's 1-0 to them against Ipswich.
Let's go to Ian Hunt at Cardiff City, a sending off.
Well, it's got a little scrappy, really, Gabby, in the last few moments. There will be several ugly incidents inside the Cardiff City penalty area. It's also got rather active on the sidelines as well, with Malky Mackay and Billy Davis unhappy with some of the decisions being made. But a crucial decision that's just gone Cardiff's way and against Nottingham Forest. Arias Henderson has been sent off for Forest for raising an arm in the face of the goal scorer, Heider Helgeson. So a real uphold task now for Forest, trying to cement their place in the playoffs. They're down to 10 men, and they trail still with 90 seconds to go in the first half by 1-0.
Harsh?
I don't think he'd have sent him off at the other end. I think the
Pressure of
crowd
the
have
home
got
crowd.
that. He's put his arm up, and it's a it's a booking. But
Yes.
Helgeson's, I know Ida, he's made a meal of that. But hey, good luck. You know that if you do that, you get the rewards. by
Most
it.
odd watching Cardiff play Nottingham Forest and having Forest in blue and Cardiff in red, isn't it?
It is
The
odd.
world's gone mad. Or apparently that's the way you do it. You wear red and it gets you promotion. That's the philosophical thinking behind that, isn't it? You've had a few clubs that have worn red.
I don't think they've ever changed. I don't think I've ever changed the colours halfway through. That's society now, isn't it? Really, if they bring the money in, playing cup,
I
whatever
notice
colour.
most of the fans still wear their blue, don't they? So, let's go to the Majeski Stadium. Jason Mohammed, half-time there. The Blues against the Reds, but neither can score.
Well, Gabby, Reading hanging on to their Premier League status and trying to keep up with a rampant Liverpool. Brendan Rodgers' methods appear to be working, Gabby. They're very well organised. Their passing is slick. The way his strikers are playing today, though, well, he may call them in for extra finishing practice on Monday. Daniel Sturridge has had 3 chances. Felipe Coutinho, Luis Suarez, Daniel Agger, Jordan Henderson. The list goes on. All should have scored, although that may be a bit harsh on Alex McCarthy in the Reading goal, who has pulled off 3 magnificent saves. Reading really hanging on here, Gabby, 0-0.
Thank you, Jason. Let's go to St Mary's. Half-time there. Tony Husband, what's the tale of the first 45 minutes then?
Well, a bit spiky, Gabby, I would say. Competitive, at times bad-tempered in the opening 45. Kevin Nolan, Adam Lallana squaring up a few moments ago. Andy Carroll talking his way into the book. And Gaston Ramirez and Jerry O'Brien exchanging insults as well. Aside from that, Southampton have had a lot more of the ball in the first half, and only a great save from Jussi Jääskeläinen would deny Ricky Lambert 8 minutes from the break. Lambert latching onto a free kick, Jääskeläinen pushing it onto a post. Just moments before the whistle went, Lambert also put a header wide. But Kevin Nolan's also had a couple of sights of goal for West Ham. One was blocked, the other was saved by Artur Boric. Terrible wind and rain here, and 0-0 at the break.
Thank you, Tony. To Villa Park. Thank you, Ivan. Let's go to Goodison Park. Everyone's been watching the...
Sat deep and not helped themselves at times by giving the ball away cheaply. And if the game plan is to soak up what Arsenal can throw at them, it looks a very dicey one at the moment.
Thank you, Nigel. So let's go to Ewood Park. Late goal news, Andy Barwell.
Yes, it's now half-time here, Gabby, but Blackburn have just scored a second goal. 2-0 to Blackburn against Derby. The first goal, Jordan Rhodes scoring from a spot kick. The second came in stoppage time. It was David Jones with an in-swinging corner. Frank Fielding, the Derby keeper, came out to grab the ball, missed it. Scott down there was there to finish it off. A very, very important goal. It's given Blackburn a little bit of breathing space now. Half-time, Blackburn 2, Derby 0.
Half-time whistle has blown in Cardiff. Ian Hunt, the first 45 minutes going Cardiff's way, with Nottingham Forest down to 10 men.
They are, Gabby, a pretty gripping 45 minutes in all here. Cardiff on course to take another big step towards the big time. Forest 10-match unbeaten run, meanwhile, hanging in the balance as they look to consolidate the place of the playoffs. Heide Helgeson's 25-minute header from Bellamy's free kick separates the two sides, but as you said, it was Darius Henderson getting sent off just before half-time for raising an elbow at Helgeson that has reduced Forest to 10 men. But those strange blue shirts have been swarming all around that Cardiff penalty area with plenty of shots on goal. Guadiera having a couple of them. So Cardiff by no means home and hosed, but leading at half-time by 1-0.
And Forest fans, these two, don't think that was a fair sending off. No chance.
It's not an elbow. He says an elbow. It's not an elbow. He won't have seen it like we have.
No, it's
just the outside of his hand.
He flails an arm. An arm comes across and he catches Helgeson, but it's not an elbow. But what I'm interested in, I mean, you saw David Moyes there get very upset, and you have seen Manchester half-time get upset. Is it a principle, Neil, that if you've got an agreement as a manager, do you want to vent it then? Because any later it's gone.
Yeah, you do. You want to let the referee know that that's how you feel, I think. Whether it's a penalty that has turned him down or a tackle he's got a booking for or should have got a booking, you want him to know, really, and that's probably the only way you can do it.
Well, it would seem Peterborough are in the midst of the great escape. They're 1-0 up at London Road, Mark Webber, which has ramifications on both ends of the table.
Oh, indeed. Watford have been denied 2 goals from fancy footwork. More about that later. But yet again, it's Peterborough grabbing all the headlines by leading a top 6 side. Dwight Gale nearly made it 1-0 after 5 minutes, but his half-pitch run was in vain as he shot wide. But he passed the ball later on to Danny Swanson, who knew how to finish in the area, and he got the goal. But Watford, dear Watford. Bobby Alejnik was millimetres perfect when he stopped Hogg from tapping in. But if you want to talk about fancy footwork, Forestieri in the area, tripped over his own feet like a ballet dancer having a problem, and the ball just trickled away into desperation, leaving it at Peterborough 1, Watford 0.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Portman Road. Robin Bailey, the home side trailing.
Yes, Ipswich 0, Hull 1. Looking good for the Tigers in their quest for automatic promotion. Robbie Brady with the penalty after David Myler was hauled down by Garani and Dorr. Hull could have had more goals. James Chester's header saved point blank by Scott Loach, who also tipped wide from his own defender Richard Stearman and blocked well from the outstanding Irishman Brady. In Boyd and Simpson, Hull had invention, and only negative really in the match is that referee Oliver Langford hasn't punished 3 fouls which might have got reds in the Premier League. Corey Evans and Endor for Ipswich, a little bit lucky. Ipswich 0, Hull 1.
Let's go to Ashton Gate. Hamish Marshall watching. Again, a game affecting both ends of the table because Bolton currently in the playoff places.
Yeah, exactly, and it's all courtesy of an own goal from Liam Fontaine. That was after just 84 seconds when the City defender deflected home Darren Prattley's cross. Bolton, though, haven't kicked on as much as we may have expected. Chris Eagles and Jay Spearing have gone wide from range, but the Trotters have to thank Adam Bogdan for a good save to deny Stephen Davis. Adoma and Elliott have also gone close, while Stephen Pearson blasted over from 10 yards. He really should have done better. Bolton haven't been good at holding leads this season, so it's not over yet, but so far so good. Bristol City 0, Bolton 1.
Wouldn't that be a story if Dougie Freeman could get them into the playoffs? Let's go to the Riverside Stadium where Brighton are hoping they can retain a top 6 place, although that's not happening at the moment, Steve Sutton.
No, something of a turgid first half, neither side igniting just yet. Middlesbrough have certainly had most of the play, and if all they can do now is spoil the aspirations of others, then they're certainly doing that to Brighton. Casper Angergren has made the game's only save, a diving block to Richard Smallwood's 11th minute shot. Scott McDonald's shot deflected wide, it could have spun anywhere, and Andy Holliday blazed wide when he had time to do better. Leonardo Oloa is proving a handful when Brighton do break, although the visitors so far have shown little ambition in Middlesbrough's half. Half-time, 0-0.
Brighton fans, apologies. Don't get texting or tweeting. You're still in the top 6. Let's go to Molineux now, though, where these two are really getting dragged into it, Peter Slater, especially with Peterborough winning. Huddersfield will be really desperate to get something out of this game in particular.
Yeah, they certainly are being dragged into it. It's 1 each here. Great start for Wolves. They were ahead within 4 minutes. Kevin Doyle's cross on the left. Stephen Ward, who doesn't score many, directed a low shot into the corner. That's his first goal since August. But Huddersfield, who desperately need the points, they're level thanks to a super individual goal from a player Neil Warnock knows well. Sean Scannell cut in from the left. No one appeared to challenge him. Scored from a narrow angle. Good individual goal, mine. The visitors much better since then, understandably so. But if the scores stay like this, a point would actually drop these sides down a place. Huddersfield, I make it, will be in the bottom 3, and Wolves would only be out of it on goal difference. Half-time at Molineux, it's Wolves 1, Huddersfield 1.
Thank you, Peter. But then if we stopped and talked about every player that you've had on this programme, we wouldn't get through the games, would we?
OK. But some of the good young lads, Scannell and Victor Moses, we're talking about Klein tonight.
Victor Moses, you gave his debut.
Yeah, and Klein at Southampton.
Outstanding first half for Southampton
Crystal
today,
Palace
Klein.
had great youth set up.
Still producing them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Zaha's there. He's come through the ranks there. Yeah. Very good.
What do you make of him? Just a word.
Am I all right to talk a bit longer?
Yeah. Come on. You know, this is a results show. When there's a goal, I have to go.
He's got a bullet. I've never seen feet as quick as Zaha's. Wilfred's. His feet are. Victor's got a bit more about. He's a bit more stronger and like that. But Wilfred's feet.
Does Wilfred have the temperament to cope with Old Trafford stage? Do you think?
I think it's the right place for him because he's going to be a top player, and I think if anybody can show him what it is, it's got to be Sir Alex, hasn't it, really? And he'll get the opportunity on that stage, and he can do it.
I've got to get some more half-time stories. Let's go to Oakwell. Adam Pope, it's not going so well for the home side.
No, sorry tale for Barnsley. Charlton leading by 2-0. Gabby, a niggly affair. Charlton's excellent away form continues as they've adapted to the wind and out-muscled Barnsley from the off, with both Ricardo Fuller and Jan Kermorgan pressurising the host defence. And it was the Frenchman's early shot, not held by the keeper Luke Steele, that allowed Bradley Pritchard to convert the rebound for the first. At its strike, skipper Johnny Jackson's had captain Steele scrambling to turn corners and crosses over galore, and he showed great skill with a little jink to crack home the second after Barnsley failed to clear their lines. Such is Charlton's dominance that Barnsley have had to throw on striker Jason Scotland to add some firepower, and he immediately set up Jacob Mellor to an effort which was cleared off the line. Barnsley's best other effort, Bobby Hassell's header wide from a corner. But Charlton have it at the moment. Barnsley 0, Charlton 2.
No goals yet by the Seaside for Richard Askham to talk about. So what else is going on there?
Well, Gabby, Blackpool have made a decent fist of it on this pudding of a pitch, and so too have Burnley. Burnley have had the best chances, actually. Junior Stanislas seeing Matt Gilks somehow stretch out a finger to turn a drive onto the post, and then the Seasiders keeper was also at his best and at full stretch to deny Ross Wallace moments later. Those are the two best chances. Blackpool, though, always dangerous with the pace of Phillips and Ince at the other end, and despite the soggy conditions and the lack of goals, a decent half of football.
Thanks, Richard. Let's go to Gig Lane. Bury in trouble, of course, both on the pitch and off it. Stuart Pike will tell us how the first 45 minutes has gone.
Bury 0, Oldham 0, Gabby. Of course, if they lose, Bury are relegated. They need £1 million off the field. They need a miracle on it. But they have performed pretty well, to be fair. 8 corners. Oldham yet to force one. But Bury only one clear-cut chance. A Jose's shot well saved by Bouzanis. And Oldham could have pinched the lead in first half stoppage time. But Simpson's header was just over the bar. Oldham themselves desperate for a win just outside the relegation zone. It's Bury 0, Oldham 0.
Let's go to Prenton Park because Hartlepool are also desperate for a survival win. Tanner, at the moment, it's going their way.
It is. Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1 is the half-time score, thanks to a sharp bit of thinking from a right-back, breathing some life into Hartlepool's season so far, keeping relegation at bay. Hartlepool manager John Hughes called for a hero, and maybe Neil Austin fits the bill so far. Hartlepool awarded a penalty as Tranmere pushed in the box. The locals thought it was a bit soft. Simon Walton's shot was saved by Fon Williams in goal, but it rebounded to Austin, who knocked it in. Hartlepool continued to thwart Tranmere, who aren't playing terribly well despite Andy Robinson's efforts. A lovely shot, really well saved by Scott Flinders. Home crowd aren't happy. Hartlepool are. Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1.
Thank you, Derm. Let's have a look at the other League One half-times. Well, Brentford 1, Portsmouth 1. Pompey effectively down, but battling away. David Connolly with their equaliser at the promotion-chasing Bees. You've heard about Bury's plight. Carlisle 1, Preston 1. Crawley are 1-0 up against Coventry. Crewe and Doncaster goalless. As things stand, that means Doncaster slipped to second in the table. It's goalless between Leyton Orient and MK Dons. Notts County 1, Colchester 1 is the latest, I understand. The user can be complacent, can't rather be complacent, of course, against the drop. But County are looking to end their run of 3 straight defeats. It's goalless between Scunthorpe and Walsall. Sheffield United 1, Swindon Town 0. A big game at Bramall Lane. Both clubs looking to consolidate playoff positions. Chris Porter is edging the Blades in front at the moment. Shrewsbury Town are trailing Bournemouth by 1-0. The promotion chasing Cherries could be top of the table tonight. Brett Pittman with an early penalty in Shropshire. It's goalless between Stevenage and Yeovil, and you've heard about the Tranmere Hartlepool game. And let's move to League Two. We'll go to Scotland. Seth Bennett can tell us the story there. Promotion chasers.
1-1 at the break. A scoreline in itself that wouldn't be enough for Port Vale to go up. However, other results are going their way at the moment. And if it stays like that and Vale win here, then they'll be able to claim promotion this evening. As for the goals, massive mix-up saw Liam Chilvers put through his own net to give Rochdale the lead. It only lasted 3 minutes, though, as Vale's Tom Pope levelled. A glancing header from 6 yards, his 33rd of the season. It really has been tense stuff. At the break, though, it's 1 apiece.
Let's have a look at the other half-time scores. Struggling AFC Wimbledon have lost their last 3 games, 1-0, and that's the scoreline against them, with Jamie Reid's strike for Exeter City putting them ahead. Burton Albion, Plymouth Argyle are goalless at the moment. The promotion chasing Burton needs something out of this one. Cheltenham Town 0, Gillingham 0, Chesterfield 0, Bradford City 1. Bradford, of course, still looking for the playoff places with that important lead. Dagenham Redbridge 0, Oxford United 1. Northampton are trailing York City by a goal to 0. York started the day in the relegation zone, but Ashley Chambers' effort has put them a goal to the good there at Northampton. You've heard about Rochdale, Port Vale. Rotherham United and Fleetwood Town are 1 apiece. Southend and Bristol Rovers are goalless, as are Wickham and Aldershot Town. Well, if you missed Fighting Talk this morning, shame on you. On 5 Live, of course, hosted by Colin Murray, because they announced the band playing at 5 Live's Big Day Out. I'll let Colin fill you. Thought it would be, Garth.
I'm sorry?
Primal Screen, did you have them?
Is it the band that you thought?
Primal Screen. Be a bit old for me.
OK, let's talk football then, shall we? I think you might know why David Moyes is upset.
Well, I mean, to be fair to Neil saw it in real time when it happened. Neil said it, penalty shout for Everton. When we watch it at half-time, as he sort of run the slow motions through, we see Fellaini definitely get tripped. Now, it looks clumsy. I can't determine who tripped him, Neil, but it was definitely a penalty, crowd.
He caught him. I mean, I don't think he intentionally caught him, but it's still a catch. It's still tapped his ankle in the box. So I think that's what David would be annoyed at, wouldn't it, that he's missed a penalty.
OK. Well, they're kicking off, of course, around the Premier League. It's a wet day, no less than at Villa Park. It's a wet, miserable afternoon there. Ivan Gaskell, plenty for Villa to improve on in the second half.
We're not miserable here, Gabby. We're always with a smile on our face on a Saturday. And we're just 2 minutes into this second half, and Villa would be smiling much more broadly if Weierman had just scored the opening effort of the second half, but it was saved by Schwarzer. It was pushed across the face of his goal, and unfortunately for Villa, I think it was Bennett at the far post had just gone too early, and the ball just went behind him. Otherwise, it was a shoo-in for the first goal. As it stands, it's still goalless.
Let's go to Goodison Park. Everton with that lead. Has Garth worked it out, Damien Johnson, as to why David Moyes was so upset, and has he calmed down?
He certainly calmed down. I can't recall the incident you're talking about, but there was a few little niggles in that first half that Everton came out of the worst from, really. I mean, there was a little facial, one of the QPR players, as a chance here for Anachabi, and he scored. Well, I think the ball had crossed the line. It looked clear to have crossed the line, but the referee, Lee Mason, hasn't given it. It was pushed onto the post by Cesar, an effort from Anachabi from close range. It doesn't stand, and Everton still lead by a goal to nil.
Which seems like a perfect time to talk about goal line technology,
Correct,
doesn't
yes.
it? That would have sorted it all out, wouldn't it?
It would, in a fraction of a second, wouldn't it? And there'd be no problems. I'm really pleased it's coming in. I know it's expensive, but with all the money that's going off in the Premier League, you've got to have it, because referees want it. I mean, you know, they want it as much as anybody else.
And actually, it doesn't happen that often, does it, that a clear-cut goal is not awarded. We can all think of really high-profile incidents, but it's not like they're happening 20 a game. It's not going to slow up, is my point.
No, not when you see what in other sports, how quickly, you know, sort of controversial decisions.
Listen, Premier League tickets are that expensive. It's 5 minutes longer in the game. You're getting your money's worth, aren't you?
It's a goal. You know, it's a goal. At least we know then. It's not down to a human eye. And
if you have a little look at the monitor there, Neil and Garth, you can see a replay of it.
I think he'll be sick there. He didn't
tell
put
us what goal line technology would have
I think he'll be sick there. It's not a goal, that one, no. But he'll be upset to Anchabi that he didn't score, because he had the goal at his mercy, really. And he should have finished it, really. That would have finished the game.
It was no Frank Lampard against Germany,
It
folks,
was not at all.
way.
Morilas was fantastic on the goal line on the left-hand side. A little bit of magic. Who's playing brilliantly, by the way. He scored individual goals, but he's really playing well for Everton at the moment, Morilas.
Yeah. A lot of Belgians are, aren't they?
He said, I think David Moyes made the point that when he plays, he's come back in the team, he's been injured. When he plays well, they play well.
They play well, yeah.
Everton.
Human beings, they're really important to Everton.
OK, let's move on to the Majeski Stadium. Any need for goal line technology, Jason Mohammed? Any of the goals getting threatened?
No need for goal line technology, but you'll see this on Match of the Day tonight. A great moment. Mark Clattenburg wanted to book Danny Guthrie, and he went to his pockets and realised he didn't have a yellow or a red card, so he had to go to the fourth official to get his yellow and red cards. I didn't know that they handed them over at half-time. Anyway, he got his yellow cards, and he's shown Guthrie a yellow card for what looked like a rugby tackle that the rugby boys would have been proud of on Daniel Sturridge. Felipe Coutinho thought he'd scored his 5th goal of the season. Fantastic right-hand cross from Sturridge. Coutinho beautifully backheeled the ball past Alex McCarthy in the net, but quite rightly, he was flagged for offside. 0-0 here.
And that's a scoreline at the Emirates as well. Nigel Langley, how's the second half started?
Well, Norwich have had a chance for the first time in the game. Right at the start of the second half, they won a corner, and it was played high to the far post. One of the central defenders, Sebastian Bassong, won the ball in the air, and the other, Michael Turner, was very, very close to turning the ball inside the 6-yard area. That would have been a travesty on the possession of play so far in the game, but Arsenal are yet to find the goal.
Let's go to St Mary's. Nobody's found the goal either there. Tony Husband.
No, and just going back to the Hawkeye debate of a few moments ago, this was one of the stadiums where the technology was actually tried out about a year ago by FIFA when they were looking for which company they were going to go with. Hawkeye are actually a Hampshire firm, and they may well have just tried out it in the first half. Jääskeläinen, when he touched the ball onto the post, it was close, but I think pretty much clear that it wasn't a goal. As for the game, well, 5.5 minutes played in the second half, and absolutely nothing happening here. 0-0.
Let's move to the Championship. A goal at Ashton Gate. Hamish Marshall, who's got it?
Bristol City just 3 minutes into the second half. I said that Bolton weren't great at holding leads. They had an early goal in the first half, and Bristol City have an early one in the second. Stephen Davis with a header, Albert Adoma with the cross on the right-hand side. We're tied up 1 apiece. We played 49 minutes.
Let's go to Oakwell. Adam Pope has a goal for us there. Who's got it?
Surely all over now. Charlton 3 up at Barnsley, and just after Barnsley's best effort, wasted by Chris Dagnall, thrashing into the side netting. Royce Wiggins goes down the other end and crosses for the giant Frenchman, Jan Kermorgant, to head home his 10th of the season. All over, really. Barnsley 0, Charlton 3.
That's Barnsley into the bottom 3 in the Championship as things stand. Let's go to Villa Park. Berbatov came close for Fulham, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, I did say at half-time that he looked, if it's possible, less interested than usual in the events unfolding around him. But you know what he's like. He is pure quality, pure class, and he only needs a second to transform a game. And boy, he almost did it. For my money, he was actually about a yard offside, but nonetheless, he got clear of the Villa rear guard for perhaps the first time in the match and slid a shot that Guzan, well, just I think, just managed to get a touch to, but it hit the post and went the wrong side of the post. It was so nearly a Fulham goal, but it remains goalless.
Now, I was going to tell you that you can see all the goals from the Premier League on Match of the Day tonight, and indeed you can. At the moment, it's just the one. I'm not trying to put you off, Gary, Alan Hansen and Martin Keown, because I'm sure they'll analyse every non-goal very well also. That's on BBC One for you, but I'm sure there'll be more. I'm only teasing. And a big Match of the Day too tomorrow. I'm sure that'll have goals for you. Amongst other things, the Tyne Weir derby. Colin Murray, Mark Lawrenson and Jason Roberts, 10:25 on BBC One. Paolo Di Canio described the Tyne Weir derby as a 10-pointer. Not even a 6-pointer, it's a 10-pointer. I'm not sure where those extra 4 points are coming from. Let's go to Cardiff. Ian Hunt, a serious injury I'm hearing. Who to?
We're still trying to work out exactly who's down on the field there inside the Forest penalty area. But yeah, the stretchers are on Gabby, and Forest, having already been reduced to 10 men in the first half, look like they're going to have to make another change. Already made a substitution at half-time with Tugguy coming on for Majewski. Still play stopped at the moment. We were all looking for a video replay at half-time to try and get a better view of that sending off involving Henderson. The consensus being that he was fairly harsh to be shown the red card for raising an arm in the direction of Helgeson, who himself has gone off at half-time. But yeah, still trying to work out who's down for Forest as play is stopped here. But Cardiff still leading by 1-0. Heider Helgeson with that on 25 minutes.
It looks like it's Holford. Did you see the incident there?
No, I didn't really. It just happened so quickly, didn't it?
I didn't see it at all. I'm sorry. I'm glued to the Arsenal-Norwich game. I do apologise.
Don't worry, it's OK. We'll tell you more on that if we hear it. Wickham have taken the lead against Aldershot, incidentally. But let's go to Portman Road. Ipswich up against second-placed Hull. Robin Bailey watching.
No more goals, but Ipswich have obviously had something of a rollicking, I think, from Mick McCarthy. They're getting stuck in. They've had a much more possession against this automatic promotion-chasing Hull side, and it's a much more even game in this second half, but still no clear-cut chances. One thing I ought to tell you that I probably didn't clarify earlier was that Jay Tabb went off in the second half from a challenge from Corey Evans, one of those which I think was dubious. He had to go off in the end, so Anthony Wordsworth is on for Ipswich. It's Ipswich 0, Hull 1.
Let's go to London Road. Mark Webber watching Peterborough-Watford.
Yes, it's still 1-0, Gabby, but Watford are brought on the big guns. Half-time substitution, Matic Vidra comes on, Joel Ekstrand goes off, and all we've really seen is a free kick for Forestieri, headed clear since then. Peterborough on the attack now, but nothing doing of it. They are still 1-0 up.
Let's go to Villa Park. Ivan Gaskell, a goal at last.
Yes, you'll be relieved to hear that it's a goal. I'm not sure that you should show any bias at all, but Aston Villa have scored it. So it's broken the stalemate here, and Nzogbia is the man to have done it. Byman initially did well. He managed to carve out a little opportunity, scraped the ball across the face of goal. It bounced out to Nzogbia. You can hear the announcement of the goal here. It's been greeted with some relief. Nzogbia did really well to pick his shot, a curling shot into the far corner. It showed some composure, a moment of quality, and that's what this game needed. Villa 1-0 up here.
Eddie Howe's Bournemouth have scored a second Brett Pittman goal as well. That makes them. That takes them back to the top of League One, and this would be a 7th successive league win as well if it carries on this way. I think we've got a goal at the Emirates. Let's head there straight away. Nigel Adley, tell us more.
And it's Norwich City who have taken the lead. Michael Turner heading in the free kick. from Robert Snodgrass. And after Arsenal had spurned so many chances in the first half, such a simple set piece, Snodgrass curling in the free kick, and Turner had a free header 7 yards out in the centre of goal, and Fabianski never moved. It could be such a big goal at both ends of the Premier League. Arsenal 0, Norwich 1.
And another one. They come in threes, don't they, these buses? At Goodison Park, Damien Johnson.
It's now 2-0 to Everton. A nod on from Distin from a corner from Leighton Baines, and there was Anachabi just to flick the ball past Cesar. Everton on the way to victory. QPR heading the way of the Championship. It's 2-0 Everton.
OK, let's pick up with the first one, shall we? And Zogbia?
Well, for me, to give it some context, Schwartz has had a very, very good game. The ball comes into the Villa box and Hangeland puts a block on it, solid block, and the ball flies out to Nzogbia. He controls it with his right foot and bends it in to the far corner with his left. It's a fabulous
finish. Yeah, super finish. And that's the difference. I think Villa's, they've lost a striker today and they've replaced him with him. I mean, he's a good player.
Well, if things stay as they are, that puts them on 36 points, which means there's a 12-point gap between themselves and the bottom two.
It puts great pressure on Stoke now. They go above Stoke.
Manchester United tomorrow. Of course,
United
maybe not playing for the FA Cup.
Absolutely right. So the complexion of that bottom group is changing all the time.
It's a third from the bottom, basically, that everybody's looking at. Isn't it?
And Norwich's goal would put them up to 38 points.
They'd be safe now.
But perhaps more importantly to the top, well, not more importantly, because survival, of course, is important if your team is surviving. But for the top and the chasing teams of the Champions League, if Arsenal were to lose this,
but do you know, listen, Arsenal are the most dangerous when they're in this position. These last 5-10 minutes at the Emirates will be like a bear pit for Norwich. Norwich have struggled to see games out. Last week was a perfect example. They're 2-1 up. Quite lucky, can't see it out. If they can see this out, I think Neil's right. I think Norwich will be safe.
And Chibi's second goal for Everton, or Everton's second goal anyway, pretty much the nail in the coffin.
He's just pinched it. It's a great finish from the kid. It just comes off the goalkeeper. And you get 5 or 6 goals a year from free kicks, and as we talk now...
Yeah, there's a goal at Southampton, at St Mary's, Tony Husband.
And it's Southampton who have taken the lead 13 and a half minutes into the second half. It's Gaston Ramirez who has scored. It's really come to him at the second attempt. He broke towards the penalty area, fired a shot away. It was bravely and well blocked by a combination of West Ham centre-halves, including James Collins. And then it's just kind of landed straight back at his feet, and he's finished well, and Southampton lead 1-0.
We'll talk about that in a moment, but we're going to Bloomfield Road because there's a goal there, Richard Askin.
Yes, Blackpool have got it, Gabby, and Ludo Silvestre with a cracking strike. He scored last week against Nottingham Forest with an excellent goal. This one was even better. Cut inside, just outside the penalty area, onto his right foot and smacked it into the top corner. Lee Grant didn't even move. Blackpool have been threatening the goal, and now they have it.
Let's go to the Emirates. Nigel Adderley, Arsene Wenger's calling up the big guns.
A double change as a response to that Norwich goal. Wilshere and Gervinho taken off, and it's Walcott and Podolski coming on. And looking at the replay of the free kick which led to the Norwich goal scored by Michael Turner, Kai Kamara was allegedly fouled by Kieran Gibbs, but looking at the replay, he simply tripped over his own feet, so Arsenal may have been unlucky there.
Let's go to Portman Road. Robin Bailey, the story's changed.
Big goal in the promotion picture because Hull have been pegged back. They'll be kicking themselves after that first half. They could have been 2 or 3 up. They only got the 1 goal, and Ipswich have got it back. Anthony Wordsworth, the sub, I was saying a little while ago, was on for Jay Tabb, who was badly injured in that first half. A header from across. Easy popped it past David Stockdale, the former Ipswich keeper, and it's now rocking at Portman Road. It's Ipswich 1, Hull 1.
That would put an 8-point gap between Hull in second and Cardiff in first. Watford are losing at the moment, of course, at Peterborough at London Road. But Cardiff can't be confirmed as champions today, but with an 8-point gap, it's looking good for them.
I think so, yeah. I don't think it'll cut them anyhow, but I think that today if the results stay like they were, it'll be a great night
and
for Malcolm Mackay.
As Leeds boss, what it's like to go to Portman Road and feel like you're on top and then be pegged back by Ipswich.
You all need a bit of luck in this game as well, and organised at the back, and they have sort of rode the luck at times in with scoring goals, but they've got crucial goals, and you don't write him off because he knows what the division's all about. It does make, and sometimes it's dour, but you've got to be like that to get results and get him out of the trouble.
Hey, I haven't had a chance to go back and ask you, because it was a goal last time, whether you'd fancy another crack at the Blades.
No, he was somebody. I said originally I wanted to retire at Sheffield United.
You're always saying that.
I know, but I wanted to sort of take him up, keep him up, and then go upstairs. That's what I talked about then. So they brought that up on an interview I did the other night. But Chris Morgan, he'll do a decent job, Chris, because he's a bit like me.
He's caretaker at the moment.
He's 100%, yeah, and I think. But I mean, Danny Wilson was unlucky to go as well. He's lost 4 or 5 good players. Only time will tell if they get in the playoffs and if they don't. They've got a chance to go automatic at the moment, but Bournemouth are flying.
So Neil, if I don't know, so Peter Coates at Stoke City, for example, would still ask you to come and do a job next season, you'd say no.
No, I was a manager.
Oh no, he's going to retire Sheffield
United.
United. He's not going
I don't want to manage again.
That's it.
Yes, you will.
I don't want to manage.
Turn it down.
Yeah,
I don't believe for one second.
I couldn't be sat here with you, Garth, if I was managing.
Don't try that nonsense with me.
Every cloud has a silver lining. Let's move to the Riverside
You've been dying to say that, Gabby, haven't you?
A goal, Steve Sutton.
Yes, and it's gone to Brighton. They lead 1-0. Andre Orlandi with the goal. It was a cross from the right. Orlandi racing through the middle of the Middlesbrough penalty area and side-footing high into the net. So Brighton lead by a goal to nil.
Let's go to Oakwell. Adam Pope, another goal there.
Oh, Barnsley 0, Charlton 4, and the second horrible mistake from the Barnsley skipper in goal, Luke Steele. Callum Harriott just thought he had a shy at the stumps from 25 yards out. Keeper right behind it, and he spilt it into the bottom right-hand corner. Barnsley in absolute disarray, in real trouble towards the foot of the table. Charlton must be safe now. Barnsley 0, Charlton 4.
And look at that, Portsmouth, Brentford were in the lead, of course, promotion chasing Brentford, and Portsmouth all but down, but with so much fight you'd think left in them there. But let's go to Prenton Park, because a lifeline for Hartlepool, Derm Tanner.
Yes, Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1, and another candidate for Hartlepool boss John Hughes' call for a hero, keeper Scott Flinders, because just a few moments ago Tranmere given a penalty. Andy Robinson hit it really hard into the very top left-hand corner, an astonishing save. Sometimes goalkeeper saves are just badly hit penalties. This was a brilliant save, and it's keeping Hartlepool alive at the moment, and Tranmere are very frustrated. 1-0 to Hartlepool, another shot going in, and Flinders saves again.
League Two looming for Bury. Gig Lane, Stuart Pike has the story.
Yes, 0-0 here against Oldham. If Oldham win, Bury are down, and Oldham are putting all the pressure on in this second half. But to be fair, despite all the pressure and possession, yet to force a clear save from the Bury keeper, Cameron Belford. I'm hearing as well, by the way, that quite a lot of Oldham fans were unable to get into this match. Quite a few outside. 2,500 did, but quite a few didn't, and you would think with Bury's financial woes that they would have found a way. It's Bury 0, Oldham 0.
AFC Wimbledon in trouble at the foot of the Football League. Well, not quite the foot just yet, and that's where they're hoping not to be. I've got a goal. They're first in 4 games, an equaliser against Exeter. Let's go to the Majeski Stadium. Jason Mohammed, how are Reading getting on? Are they?
Oh!
Yes.
What have you probably heard? Pavel Pogrebniak with a brilliant cross into Adam Lafondra, brilliantly saved by Pepe Reina. I was actually going to say to you, Gabby, that Pepe Reina has had nothing to do in this game. It is that one-sided. He's just pulled off a brilliant save. Wow, that would have been completely against the run of play, because it's been all Liverpool. And to give you an idea, Gabby, of the gulf between these two teams, Luis Suarez and Steven Gerrard have scored 39 goals between them this season. That's more than Reading, who've managed 36 as a team. It is so one-sided. But what price now? Can Reading nick it and move off the foot of the table? Stay tuned.
There to see just what a one-sided game it is. Possession, they're dominating. Attempts, 14 to Liverpool, 2 to Reading. I'm not sure if it included that Pogrebniak one there, but anyway, let's go to Cardiff City. A goal. Have they extended their lead further?
They have, Gabby. Surely Cardiff on their way to the Premier League now. A goal for Rudy Gestede on as a substitute at half-time for the man who scored the first goal, Heide Helgeson. A wonderful cross from Andrew Taylor on the left-hand side, powered past the Forest goalkeeper Darlow by the Frenchman Gestede. Cardiff City now leading by 2 goals to 0, and this stadium rocking. They know they're close now, very, very close to going up to the Premier League.
Let's go to Villa Park, because I can't tell you whether this is a goal or not. Ivan Gaskell, do we need GLT?
No, this is a goal, and it's a goal for Fulham, and it was a poor goal for Villa to concede, and once again they have conceded. Just a moment ago I was thinking, can they see this one out? And keep a clean sheet at long last? And the answer is no, and they've undone it and shot themselves in the foot in a sense, because from a corner Fabian Delph allowed the ball to glance off the top of his head. It wrong-footed everybody, including his own keeper, and despite Westwood's attempts to clear on the line, the ball crossed the line, in it went. It's an own goal. Fulham are level.
We'll go to London Road in a moment to hear about that Peterborough goal, but let's go to St Mary's. Tony Husband has one for us.
It's 1-1. Andy Carroll back in the West Ham side today, scoring from a free kick. I think there might be one or two questions about the performance of the Southampton wall, because Carroll hit it low, reasonably hard, but somehow the wall parted and West Ham level now. They were behind for only 5 minutes.
Did you see that? Did you see the Carroll goal?
I didn't, unfortunately. I saw the celebration. I didn't actually see the connection. I'll keep my eyes out for it. But I must say this. I thought Carroll was outstanding last week, and I said in my team of the week, I thought this player is looking like a player again.
He turned well and put it in with his wrong foot as well. I think
this one.
It's a good goal.
He's hit some form, hasn't he? He won't be going back to Liverpool.
No, I don't think. I think Brendan Rodgers...
Well, he might have to, because it's going to be only... Who's going to pay that sort of money? They're not going to want to lose that much money on him. So there's going to be restricted and where he might have to end up at Liverpool.
I'm not sure he can actually play that way, to be honest with you. I mean, Brendan Rodgers has a definite way of playing. He's got Sturridge in there now. He plays that 3 with Luis Suarez now, and Coutinho's coming in. So if he does go back, they'll have to alter their style of play a little bit to accommodate him. But whether or not that's a step too far for us, we'll have to wait and see. But he's certainly playing well again, Carroll.
I promised we'd hear more about that second Peterborough goal. And Mark Webber at London Road can tell us.
This place is bouncing. Peterborough 2, Watford 0. A reverse of the first goal. Danny Swanson this time in the area, cut inside, pass to Dwight Gale this time, and he thumped that ball like you'd never believe. 2-0, back of the net. Peterborough absolutely in the ascendancy here.
Let's go to a sending off for Adam Pope to tell us about it. Oakwell.
Gets worse for Barnsley as well. They're losing by 4-0. And midfielder Stephen Dawson, in what's been a niggly game without any cards, the referee's done really well, but Jeff Elcham had no doubts about a challenge that was over the top of the ball on Jan Kermigan, and Steve Dawson shown a straight red, so that'll be a 3-match ban for him just when Barnsley need him. They need a goal from somewhere, because Charlton are cruising this by 4-0 against 10 men.
Also down deep in the doo-doo are Wolves and Huddersfield at Molineux. Any signs of a winner there, Peter Slater?
Well, it's 1-1 still, but Wolves should be in front. They've been much the better side second half, but the guilty man, Roger Johnson, 6 yards out, open goal, almost hit the corner flag. It was a real central defender's attempt on goal, which is why it remains Wolves 1, Huddersfield 1.
Could be a big day for Blackburn Rovers. Andy Barwell's been watching them against Derby at Ewood Park.
Yes, Blackburn still lead 2-0 as they look for a first championship win in over 2 months. It almost made it 3-0. Sando Majewski, long punt forward from the goalkeeper. Jordan Rhodes ran onto it, only for the to lob it straight at the keeper Frank Fielding. I really kept Derby in this. Derby have been doing really well in this second half, but no way through for them. It remains Blackburn 2, Derby 0.
Gillingham trailing in League 2. Cheltenham's Michael Hector with the goal there. Could have been crowned champions, of course, this afternoon, Gillingham. It's not going to happen today, though. It looks like, at the moment, about 20 minutes to go. Interesting turn of events. And suddenly, from no goals, they're flying in. Bottom of the table, obviously, QPR trailing. Yes, I have just put a chocolate in my mouth. I'm sorry, it's a long show. I need some energy. I'm just going to swallow that.
I wasn't going to give you away, honestly.
You were, I could see it in your eyes. QPR trailing, Reading yet to make the breakthrough. But for those two teams, the way results are turning out today, if Villa can keep this up, it's not looking good, is it?
No, I think that the first half in all the games has been very cautious in the Premier League today. It's like they've all come out and said, right, let's have a go now. You know, we 0-0, let's go and try and win it. And I think they've all had a go second half, all the teams, and that's why we got the goals. And I think there'll be more goals in the next 20 minutes as well.
We've got a goal in the Championship. Back to Molineux, Peter Slater.
Well, how big could this one be? Jermaine Beckford on as a second-half substitute. He's only been on for a matter of minutes, and he's put his side in front. A corner came in from the left-hand side. It was headed on, and Beckford almost on the goal line. That's what he does. He's a goal poacher, and he's put the ball into the net. So they were a goal down, Huddersfield. They're now 2-1 up.
Wolves second from bottom as things stand. Let's go to London Road, because Peterborough making a great escape, it would seem, but a sending off. Who's it gone to, Mark Webber?
Watford's Marco Cassetti has marched. Dwight Gale was on the ball, last man heading towards the goal, just outside the area. Cassetti pushed him, there was no doubt. It was a straight red, there was nobody else around, and as a result, he had to walk. Lining up now to take a free kick just on the edge of the D is Tomlin, and it might be 3-0 here. I don't know whether you want to stick with me or move on. The referee's just about to blow his whistle any second now. Here we go. Tomlin, right foot over and in to the left-hand side of the goal. And that really does mark a great escape for Peterborough. Peterborough United 3, Watford 0.
Takes Peterborough out of the drop zone in the Championship. When you think going back 2-3 months ago.
They can score goals. That's the thing. You know, they sign strikers from non-league and they come off. And, you know, I just think the way that they played the second half of the season, I bet you they'd be top half.
Going back to Molineux, more goal news. Peter Slater.
2 goals in 2 minutes for Huddersfield, 2 goals in 2 minutes for Jermaine Beckford. Inspired substitution by Mark Robbins. The first goal was off the goal line, headed down by James Vaughan for Beckford. This one he was put through, raced through, beat the defence, finished coolly. Beckford, as I say, he's a real goal scorer, but that's only his 6th of the season for Huddersfield. But how vital could these two be? It's now Wolves 1, Huddersfield 3.
I want to get your thoughts on that, on Solbakken and on Saunders for Wolves, but we've got to go straight to Cardiff because there's another goal, Ian Hunt.
Well, you talk about inspired substitutions, same thing here. Rudiger Stead coming on at half-time for Heide Helgeson has just scored a second goal inside 6 minutes to put Cardiff City 3-0 up. They are now cruising towards the Premier League. It's been a complaint that Cardiff have just been grinding out results in recent weeks. Not this time, really turning on the style. A lovely corner from Bellamy. Gestead heading home for his second. They lead by 3-0. Nottingham Forest, 10-match unbeaten run under Billy Davis, now coming to an end.
And they will be kicking themselves, Cardiff City, that they dropped points earlier in the week, won't they? Because they could have been crowned champions today at home in front of their home crowd.
They could, but they'll not be bothered. I'll tell you now, they'll not be bothered at all. They'll be thinking, oh, you know, with the results, they're up, but, you know, next week it's only 1 point, whatever it is needed, and they'll be delighted. I'm pleased Malky Mackay. I think he's one of the top young managers there is, and I'm, you know, I think they deserved it.
And after last year, how time flies, they just didn't want to go through the agony.
No.
And the lottery of the playoffs, did they?
And you've got to say, you know, they've really supported him. You know, they've given him more or less everything he wanted regarding the players, and that's why there's more pressure on you, but he's come through in flying colours.
It's a different kind of pressure, isn't it? And look at that scoreline there at Molineux. Wolves 1, Huddersfield 3, Jermaine Beckford with 2. You know,
that's a great result for Mark Robbins. He's come on and he's done really well. You know, they beat us a couple of weeks ago when I was at Leeds, and we could have gone the other way.
And there's even more drama there, I'm hearing. Let's go back to Peter Slater. What's happened?
Well, it's all falling apart for Wolves. Not only are they trailing by 3-1. Referee Keith Stroud has just sent Jamie O'Hara off. Straight red card, tackle on Keith Southern. Southern also booked. Can't quite see why that was. Another player has just been booked. I think that's Doherty of Wolves. So it's all fallen apart. Wolves appear to have lost their discipline. Those 2 goals by Jermaine Beckford within a couple of minutes of each other, and they're now down to 10 men. It's Wolves 1, Huddersfield 3.
And it really tells the story, doesn't it? Because they would be second from bottom and 2 points from safety. And those bottom 6 teams, the 3 that are lost or losing are the bottom 3, and the 3 above them are the 3 that are winning today. And that's just how tight it is.
And it brings the others into it, doesn't it? Sheffield Wednesday losing to, I know they think they're safe there, but it brings the other teams above it, doesn't it? Back into it with Blackburn winning.
Millwall, of course, not playing this weekend because of the FA Cup. Yeah. But yeah, it's still, you know, as we said earlier on today, that 13 teams technically were still within touching distance of relegation. Not that you want to be because of their lack of points, but it really is tight down there.
It's going to be so close, and everybody's going to be interested in the Championship now because of that, bottom and top.
Yeah, the top, of course, looking like it's a done deal for Cardiff City, who are cruising against Nottingham Forest this afternoon. Hull losing at the moment. Let's go to Villa Park and bring you up to speed with events there. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, chances at both ends here. It's still 1 apiece after that Fabian Delph own goal, and just a moment ago he had an absolutely outstanding opportunity to make amends for that own goal, because the ball fell to his feet, 6-7 yards out as I speak. Well, Berbatov was clear for a moment, but the offside flag was raised, but Delph had a great chance 6 yards out, the goal at his mercy, and he absolutely leathered it about 100 feet over the crossbar. How he managed that, it was quite a feat. And Paul Lambert just raised his hands to his head in absolute despair. A torturous 15 minutes left. Who'd be a manager, Neil?
Thank you, Ivan. You'll have spotted the deliberate mistake or the unfinishing of a sentence there. Hull not losing ground, I should have said, on Cardiff City, because they're drawing at the moment at Portman Road. But let's go back to the Premier League, to Goodison Park. Damien Johnson, this is not the great escape for Harry Houdini. It's looking very ominous, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're staring relegation in the face as things stand. It's 2-0 still. Those goals from Gibson and Anachabi. Taarabt is on, probably a last throw of the dice for Queen's Park Rangers as they look to get a foothold back in this game. Game's got quite stretched, but still not that many chances at either end. Everton in control and heading for Europe at this point.
Yep, Everton would be up to 6th tonight on 55 points. With Arsenal losing at the moment, they would be on 56 points. Let's go to Majeski Stadium. Liverpool with their eye as well on that prize. Jason Mohammed.
Luis Suarez runs up with a free kick just past Alex McCarthy's left-hand post. They must have had, Gabby, 12 or 13 outstanding chances, Liverpool today. Sure, Reading have hung on in there, and do you know what? How many times have we seen this in football? And that's what we love about the sport, is that it's been all Liverpool, and Joby McAnuff almost snatched a vital 3 points for Reading just a few minutes ago. Brilliantly saved, tipped over by Pepe Reina. Sure, we've had no goals here at the Medeski, but it's going to be a fantastic highlights package on Match of the Day this evening. It's been end-to-end stuff, and fair play to Reading. They are hanging on in there. Can they nick a late winner?
Thank you, Jason. Let's go to the Riverside Stadium. A goal there. Steve Sutton, tell us.
Yes, it's gone to Brighton. It's Middlesbrough 0, Brighton 2. A solo effort from David Lopez. The ball broke into the Middlesbrough half. Middlesbrough were pushing forward. Lopez was pretty much on his own. He raced forwards to take on the keeper, Jason Steele. Steele caught in two minds, didn't know whether to come or stay back. Lopez stayed cool, lobbed it over his head into an empty net. Middlesbrough 0, Brighton 2.
Let's go to the Emirates. Have those Arsenal reinforcements made any kind of difference, Nigel Beverley?
Well, Podolski has just hit the crossbar. He came on with Walcott following the Norwich goal, and his left-footed volley has just rattled the underside of the woodwork. Arsenal pushing strongly here, but if anything, since the Norwich goal, they've created the best chance. Sebastian Basson shaking off Mikel Arteta in the centre circle, and the central defender rumbled all the way through towards the penalty area, found Russell Martin in support, but he shot straight at Fabianski. It's a typically frustrating Arsenal afternoon, and many fans beginning to leave early.
Arsene Wenger, Gabby, will be absolutely you can see the frustration in him, and that's how it is. It's one of those days where, as a manager, you stood there and you're not going to, we're going to be very lucky to get a goal. And he can't see where one's coming from at the moment, Garth, can he?
Podolski missed a great chance earlier on. The ball's in the box. They're throwing everything at Norwich, but Norwich are defending like lions. But Podolski gets a miscontrols the ball in the box. It goes for a goal kick, and he plays a 1-2 on the edge of the box, strikes. I think Bunn gets a hand to it to push it onto the bar. It's a terrific save.
Wenger's having to go fourth official, everybody. You know when things aren't going your way. He'll be happy with a point at this stage, wouldn't he?
He'd take a point, you think, right now?
He would, yeah.
Of course, no Chelsea in action with the FA Cup semi-final, and Tottenham not in action today either. So it was a chance for Arsenal to leap into that fourth spot today. And
yeah, and everybody thought they would. And it's just what Norwich need. I'm pleased for Chris Hughton because it's been a learning curve this season. If they can pull this result off, that's them safe. So it's a fabulous opportunity, and they're doing the stuff quite well from the front all the way back, defending well at the moment.
It would be the double, of course, over Arsenal. They beat them same score as it is now, 1-0 back in October. Let's go to St Mary's. Tony Husband, give us an update, please.
Well, Southampton are on the attack here. They've brought on two of the players who've been ill in the week, Jay Rodriguez and Jason Puncheon. It's Rodriguez who's gone all the way into the penalty area here, and he's ended up winning his side a corner. It's been a really decent second half, this. You wonder whether in the second period, bearing in mind the two sides' positions, would this game just peter out? But they've really both gone for it, and they're both looking for a winner still.
Don't you dare.
Will you see a winner there? Do you see a winner there, Garth?
Which game?
In the game we just come from, St Mary's.
Oh, St Mary's.
Southampton, West Ham.
Yes, because I think Southampton, both teams are going for it, to be honest with you. I've been very impressed with the way Southampton have acquitted themselves. They've pressed, and West Ham have been resilient. I was quite surprised with the way that Carroll took that free kick. I didn't expect him to take it in the first place. It wasn't the greatest strike, but it got a deflection, went through the wall and creeped in. Good game.
OK, let's go to Gig Lane. There's goal news. Stuart Pike.
Yes, it's Bury 0, Oldham 1, and as it stands, Bury are just 12 minutes away from being relegated to League Two. The goal had been coming. It could be huge as well for Oldham, who are just one place as it stands at the moment outside the drop zone. Miller with the cross from the left, and Oldham's FA Cup hero, Matt Smith, with a diving header from 6 yards out into the bottom corner. As it stands, Bury are going down. They trail Oldham by a goal to 0.
And as things stand, Bury are going to be relegated from League One. Let's go to Ashton Gate. Hamish Marshall has a goal.
Controversial moment and a big moment. Bolton lead by 2-1 with 11 minutes left. Craig Davis converting a penalty. It came after a foul by Matthew Bates on David Ngog. The referee didn't initially give it. The linesman on this side flagged, and the penalty was converted. So Bolton heading back into the playoff places. It's been end to end throughout this second half. Bristol City have been the better side, but Bolton now lead 2-1.
That puts Bolton back into the playoff places as things stand. Let's head to Portman Road. Robin Bailey, any sign of a winner?
Well, at the moment, if there's going to be a winner, it's going to come from Ipswich. They have been the better side by far in the second half, which is an amazing turnaround from that first half. And Daryl Murphy could have had 3 goals since the equaliser went in from Anthony Wordsworth. 2 excellent shots which went just wide, one from the head, one with his boot. And just a moment ago, a lovely move and a brilliant save from David Stockdale, who spent half a year here in 2011. At the moment, it's Ipswich 1. Hull City 1.
Huddersfield with that 3-1 lead at Molineux. Let's get an update from Peter Slater.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that Wolves' season possibly could have fallen apart in those 6 minutes. They started the second half so brightly. That Roger Johnson miss could prove really expensive. Then those 2 goals from Jermaine Beckford, followed by the sending off of Jamie O'Hara. Dean Saunders just made a double substitution. He's brought on Hamill and Dicko. 10 men against Huddersfield. Don't think Wolves are going to get anything out of this. 9 minutes left. It's still Wolves 1, Huddersfield 3.
Huge controversy at the Emirates. Nigel Adderley.
A penalty has been given to Arsenal. It was given by the assistant referee on the far side. There was some shirt pulling on Olivier Giroud by Kai Kamara. It wasn't seen by Mike Jones, the referee, but his assistant on the far side, a good 50 yards away from the action, has given the penalty. Norwich are absolutely furious. The yellow card's been brandished at least 2 players in canary yellow. But what a big opportunity for Arsenal here to haul themselves back in the game. A point wouldn't take them into the top 4 as things stand, but it would give them something from a game which has turned into an immensely frustrating afternoon. Norwich are still complaining. Mark Bunn, the goalkeeper, is around the edge of the penalty area. He's finally, belatedly walking back to his goal line. Mikel Arteta will take the penalty for Arsenal, and this could be a key moment in their season, a key moment in their pursuit of a top 4 place. The Norwich players are still gathering inside the penalty area. Mike Jones has a real job here of keeping them away from Arteta. But finally, Arteta steps up right-footed and he scores off the hands of Mark Bunn, and it just about reaches the back of the net. But Arsenal are level, 1-1.
Gabby, the 2 things what we're going to talk about now. Before that, this same linesman who's 50 yards away who gives the penalty, there's a corner kick, there's a Snodgrass is running out with the ball, it's a goal kick, and this linesman gives a corner. I don't know.
It's a goal kick.
You talk about me getting fined. And Mike Jones, he must know that's not a penalty. The stakes involved. Linesmen can't be as busy as that and not give a corner. It's a goal kick, isn't it?
It's a goal kick to begin with. Then it follows the corner. And, of course, when the corner comes in, you remember Norwich are fighting for their lives. The ball comes in and there's pushing and shoving going on everywhere.
Normal argy-bargy in the box.
Normal services resumed. But how you can distinguish one person to pull a shirt in that lot, I don't know.
The referee's closer than him. This guy is 50 yards away. The
referee is not obliged to take that.
No, he can overrule him. He can overrule him.
Yeah, so why would he not when he's clearly closer and has a better vantage point?
I'm watching the linesman now. He's loving every minute of it. I find it. I wish he was as good at spotting a ball going out for a goal kick when when they give a corner. It's ridiculous. Chris Hughton will be absolutely furious.
And the telltale sign is, if that incident had gone uninterrupted, no one would have complained.
Nobody would have complained. No. That's the difference. They know the rules, not the game. That's the problem. There's no reaction at all from any Arsenal player, were there?
No, not one.
OK, let's get an update from Prenton Park. Hartlepool doing just enough at the moment to survive. Tanner.
It's really brave stuff from Hartlepool. It's still Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1, and Tranmere throwing absolutely everything at Hartlepool at the moment. Luke James is in on goal. That's a rare furry forward for Hartlepool, but they are defending resolutely. And that penalty save in the second half and the goal in the first half on 10 minutes is the difference between these two sides. Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1.
They're still fuming, these two. Neil has that. I've been there. I've had those decisions against me.
Oh, my goodness. I just look at
You can't escape it. Sitting here, being so detached, you're still feeling it for the managers, aren't you?
I am, yeah, because Chris, they've done brilliant today. And it's nothing to do with Chris's tactics or the players and everything. It's to do with a man with a flag who's 50 yards away, who, for one reason or another, doesn't see one simple opportunity and then gets involved. I'm sure the fans at home, 50,000 fans, will be chanting his name soon. He'll love it.
Let's go to Scotland. Seth Bennett, give us an update, please.
Into the closing moments here then. Still one apiece, and that means that Port Vale will have to wait. They've been on the back foot. Kennedy for Rochdale really should have put this game to bed for the home side. His volley, though, when he should have hit the target, went flying over the top. Into the closing moments then. It's 1-1.
They can win it from
Let's
here.
go to Villa Park. Any sign of a winner there, Ivan Gaskell? Villa, of course, with his great record at home against Fulham.
Yes, Fulham haven't won a league game here since 1973. That's 40 years, but you know, you sort of get the sense that if this game is played for another 40 years, we aren't going to see another goal. It's got a bit attritional, it's got a bit frustrating. Delph, who scored that own goal to level things here, blazed that chance high over the bar, and with it, you sense a little bit of hope squeezed out of the Villa fans and their manager Paul Lambert. He's thrown a couple of subs on. They're not exactly positive. You get the sense that he would settle for a point here now. He's put Holman on. Delph's in the middle of midfield. Silla, the hard tackling Silla, is on. 3 or 4 minutes left. Villa on the attack, but it's still 1-1.
Huge goal at Arsenal. Nigel Adderley.
A huge moment in their season. Arsenal have taken the lead. Oxlade-Chamberlain with a dash into the area. Down the left-hand side. He played a 1-2 with Podolski. Pulled it back low into the 6-yard area. And Olivier Giroud got there ahead before Sebastian Basson and poked the ball in from a yard out. And in the space of 3 minutes, 0-1 has become 2-1 to the Arsenal.
We'll have your word on that in a moment, but we're going to Portman Road for important goal news. Robin Bailey.
And a fantastic moment for all those travelling Hull City fans, because Hull City, against the run of play in the second half, have got a second goal. Robert Coran, who's on as a substitute, was there all on his own in the 6-yard box after wonderful work from Robbie Brady. That Irishman, that 21-year-old, is going to go far. He's been brilliant. A lovely little chip in, a dink in that found Coran, and he headed wide of Scott Loach. It's Ipswich 1, Hull 2.
And goal news at Scotland, Seth Bennett.
It could be a promotion goal as well. Liam Chilvers, who put through his own net in the first half, rose the highest, and he thundered a header into the top corner. If it stays like this and the other results elsewhere stay as they are right now, Port Vale will be promoted today. They lead at Rochdale by 2-1.
Thank you. Let's talk, though, about Arsenal and their incredible few minutes they've just had there at the Emirates. Make it even more.
You better talk first, because I think.
Well, how much?
Let's go through the series of events. Arsenal get a corner that is not a corner, and so they take advantage of that. The ball comes in, and from that ensuing corner, there's the linesman suggests, or the referee's assistant suggests, that a shirt's been pulled. Now, in amongst it all, no one can determine who's done what. But from that, they get a penalty and they equalise. And I say to Neil, from that point on, Arsenal can win the game. They've got momentum. Norwich are shaken, and that's exactly what happens.
How much does a difference make that it was from a bad decision that goal came?
Oh, you're so bitter. You can't get it out of your mind as a manager. You're so bitter.
The players, though, on the pitch, though, why suddenly do they capitulate?
Because you're shaken.
Because you're shaken. Because you feel such an injustice when a man 50 yards away, there's not one Arsenal player asked for a penalty. There's not one person turned around and appealed to the referee. The referee hasn't given it. He's not seen anything, the referee, who's 30 yards closer than the linesman. You've got a busy linesman over there who hasn't seen something 10 yards in front of him, has he?
And what will happen is players tighten up, people get tense, people get nervous, and you're making decisions you wouldn't normally make if you're leading 1-0 and you're comfortable. Oxlade-Chamberlain comes on, goes through, plays a 1-2 with Podolski, game over.
OK, we're going to leave that there for the moment because there's been a goal at London Road. Mark Webber, who's it gone to?
3 minutes to go. The Watford comeback is on. It's Watford. It's Peterborough 3, Watford 1. Abdi with the free kick came off Yates and went in the back of the net. To be fair, it spurred Watford on, but they do have a long way to come now, don't they? At 3-1.
Thank you. Let's go to Oakwell. You can see there's been a sending off. Adam Pope will tell us about it.
And not only that, Gabby, Charlton are leading by 5-0 after Salim Karko, the substitute, scored his first goal at the top with his first touch. But the latest sending off on the back of Stephen Dawson's rash challenge, Tom Kennedy shown a straight red for Barnsley, bringing down Ricardo Fuller, who's the last man. They say, don't they, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. Shakespeare was right about Barnsley today. Charlton are leading 5-0 against 9 men.
Brentford, having been up and then down, then behind, then equalised, are back in front in that very important game at the top of League One. But we're going to go back to the Premier League and to the Emirates, indeed. Nigel Adderley.
It's all over. Arsenal 3, Norwich 1. They've scored 3 times in the final 6 minutes of this game. Theo Walcott teeing up Lucas Podolski for a smart left-footed shot on the turn. Before that goal, Norwich almost equalised. Johnny Howson's shot was blocked by the legs of Fabianski, but it all turned around late on, and all the way back to Norfolk, Norwich will be extremely aggrieved.
Bury going back to League Two after 2 seasons in League One at Gig Lane. Stuart Pike.
Well, it looks like it. We've just entered the stoppage time. 5 minutes of stoppage time here. Oldham leading by a 0-0. Matt Smith's header after 78 minutes. The difference between the two sides. It's all now about keeping the doors open, about Gig Lane and stopping Bury from going bust, from going out of business. Off the field, they need £1 million to start life, it looks like, in League Two next year. It's Bury 0, Oldham 1.
A 3-1 scoreline for Arsenal. At the start of the day, you'd say, well, that's the way they've been playing. That would be an unsurprising result and performance from them. The way things have transpired, I mean, it just shows you a scoreline doesn't tell you the whole story, does it?
No. But it's like, you know, like I get in trouble that much, don't I, referee? Thank goodness. I can say what I want, really, can't I, now, within reason? It's one of those things that I would say, if I was a manager there, I would say that is not given at the other end of the pitch. That's given. There's 50,000 fans chanting. There's nobody asked for it. It's unbelievably bad.
Is this the goal to seal the party at Scotland, Seth Bennett?
The party is on pause. Jason Kennedy has levelled. He's the party pooper. It's 2-2, and now Port Vale will have to wait for their promotion.
Let's go to Villa Park. It's all over. Ivan Gaskell.
Dell's head, over the line it went, and no need for goal line technology. 1-1 it finished. I think both sides will realise they didn't quite do enough to win it.
As the scoreline shows, let's go to Jason Mohammed at the Majeski Stadium. Neither there did enough to win it.
Gabby, 5 games to go. There's still hope for Reading, but how Liverpool have not won here today will baffle Brendan Rodgers all summer. They miss simple chances, and when they managed to get a shot on target, they came up against a goalkeeper who was just magnificent. Alex McCarthy saved brilliantly from Luis Suarez, Steven Gerrard and Felipe Coutinho, who also had a goal ruled out for offside. It is one of the goalkeeping performances of the season. It's his first start since November. If there has been a better goalkeeping performance in the Premier League this season, I would love to see it. Reading 0, Liverpool 0.
Jason, you've done a good job of selling that for Match of the Day tonight.
To keep Everton's European dreams alive, Rangers have actually started the better. Hoylett went close and Remy forced a decent save from Tim Howard. But as so often luck deserted Queen's Park Rangers, Darren Gibson's effort deflected in off Clint Hill, and Achabi made it safe for the home side as a depth flick from Distan's knockdown, making it 2. QPR continue to show plenty of fight, but the Championship surely beckons for them next season.
Thank you. Let's go to St Mary's. It's all over there. Tony Husband, the spoils shared.
Yes, and both sides on the brink of safety after what was, in the end, a pretty entertaining draw. A bad-tempered first half, lit up only by Jyski Laskalainen's excellent save, made way for a competitive second period in which Southampton led through Gaston Ramirez, who followed up his own blocked shot to finish at the second attempt. And then 5 minutes later, Andy Carroll, back in the West Ham side, levelled with a low drive of a free kick, which looked like it took a slight deflection on the way through. Neither side settled for a point, with the ball bouncing around both penalty areas at times, but both sides will be content with that point too. They know they have a second season in the top flight almost in their grasps.
Well, it's all over at the Emirates and nice.
Theo Walcott. It means Arsenal are back into the top 4 and Norwich remain in trouble.
Yes, things stand tonight. Arsenal would be in 3rd place. It's all over at Oakwell. It's been a bad afternoon for Barnsley. Adam Pope.
Barnsley 0, Charlton 6. The Addicts have navigated themselves to championship safety with another victory on foreign shores, a 9th in all, and thanks to first half goals from Bradley Pritchard and Johnny Jackson. And then just after the break, a header from Jan Kermigan. Callum Harriot's shot was spilled into the net by Luke Steele, who had a horrible day. Then Barnsley reduced to 10 men with Steve Dawson sent off for a straight red. There was the Addicts substitute Salim Kirkos scored his first goal for the club with his first touch to make it 5. And then Barnsley reduced to 9 men when Tom Kennedy was sent off. The fans then reduced to tears when Ricardo Fullo deservedly rounded off a great performance with the 6. Barnsley 0, Charlton 6.
Let's go to Prenton Park in League One. Durham Town and Hartlepool live to fight another day.
Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1. Neil Austin, Scott Flinders, 2 heroes amongst many as Hartlepool got the win they needed to keep relegation at bay for at least another week. A resolute, brave and hard-working display thwarted Tranmere, who have now gone 4 games without a win and a goal to drop to 8th. But the story belongs to Hartlepool. Neil Austin responded first as Simon Walton's 10-minute penalty was saved to knock in the rebound, and Hartlepool goalkeeper Scott Flinders pulled off one of the best penalty saves I've ever seen. Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1.
It's looking bleak for Wolves and for Dean Saunders at Molineux. Peter Slater.
Yeah, they've lost 3-1 the game, and possibly their season fell apart within 3 second-half minutes. They'd taken an early lead through Stephen Ward. Sean Scannell equalised, but then Mark Robbins brought on Jermaine Beckford. First he scored from close range. 2 minutes later he finished coolly from just inside the box. From the restart, Jamie O'Hara pushed Keith Southern in the face and was sent off. Wolves are second bottom. Huddersfield have won 3-1.
Let's go to London Road, still playing, and a goal, Mark Webber.
We're still playing a nervous end for the locals. Forest Area's just made it. Peterborough 3, Watford 2. They're hoping that they can hang on. Come back to me. We're halfway through 5 minutes of injury, Gabby.
Is it going to be a great comeback for Watford? Let's go to Ashton Gate. No such thing for Bristol City. Hamish Marshall.
No, it's a big 3 points in Bolton's playoff chase, and they hammer another nail in Bristol City's relegation coffin. The winner came from a penalty given by the linesman, converted by Craig Davis. Harsh on Bristol City. Bolton hung on for dear life at times. 8 wins in 10 games for Bolton. Bristol City now 10 points from safety.
Big win, big day for Blackburn Rovers at Ewood Park. Andy Barwell.
Yes, 3 precious points, a 2-0 victory there. First league win, stretching back 11 games that sequence. Jordan Rhodes took the ball home inside the post from his spot kick early on. Then the Derby keeper Frank Fielding flapped, allowing Scott Down to add a second for the home side just before the break. Derby tried hard, but nothing doing. Ultimately, Blackburn's day, full-time 2-0.
And a sad day at Gig Lane. Stuart Pike.
Yes, Bury relegated, losing by a goal to 0, and a crucial goal and a crucial win for Oldham. Of course, they're just outside the relegation places at the moment for a big win for them and their manager Lee Johnson. And of course, Oldham play Yeovil. Johnson comes up against his father on Tuesday night, and an Oldham win there will probably see them safe. Matt Smith with the goal, 12 minutes from time. Bury gave it everything, but in the end, just not good enough. Bury relegated, but of course, it's all about surviving as a club. They need £1 million by the end of April. It finished Bury 0, Oldham 1.
Thank you, Stuart. And now before we get all the football results for you, let me point you towards a couple of sporting events coming up here on the BBC. You can watch the final 2 rounds of the Masters from Augusta starting tonight on BBC 2 at 7:30, including Tiger Woods, who it was touch and go, may have been expelled from the tournament. He's had to take a penalty, but he's still in it. Tomorrow night, coverage gets underway an hour earlier at 6:30. Even if you don't like golf, it's a beautiful course just to watch and sit back and enjoy. At the opposite end of the day, and of course, pace of sport, you can watch the whole of the Chinese Grand Prix live on BBC One at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's a bit early for you. There's a full rerun at 2:20 after you've had your Sunday roast. OK, analysis and reaction to come on the day's action after all the results read by Mike West.
And starting with the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal 3, Norwich City 1. Aston Villa 1, Fulham 1. Everton 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Reading 0, Liverpool 0. And Southampton 1, West Ham United 1. On to the Empire Championship. Barnsley 0, Charlton Athletic 6. Blackburn Rovers 2, Derby County 0. Blackpool 1, Burnley 0. Bristol City 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. Cardiff City 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Ipswich Town 1, Hull City 2. Leeds United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Middlesbrough 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Peterborough United 3, Watford 2. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Huddersfield Town 3. In the Empire League 1, Brentford 3, Portsmouth 2. Bury 0, Oldham Athletic 1. Carlisle United 1, Preston North End 1. Crawley Town 2, Coventry City 0. Crewe Alexandra 1, Doncaster Rovers 2. Leyton Orient 2, Milton Keynes Dons 0. Notts County 2, Colchester United 1 is the latest score. Scunthorpe United 1, Walsall 1. Sheffield United 2, Swindon Town 0. Shrewsbury Town 0, AFC Bournemouth 3. Stevenage 0, Yeovil Town 2. And Tranmere Rovers 0, Hartlepool United 1. In the Empire League 2, AFC Wimbledon 2, Exeter City 2. Burton Albion 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. Cheltenham Town 1, Gillingham 0. Chesterfield 2, Bradford City 2. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Oxford United 1. Northampton Town 0, York City 2. Rochdale 2, Port Vale 2. Rotherham United 2, Fleetwood Town 1. Southend United 0, Bristol Rovers 0. Torquay United against Barnet, match postponed. And Wycombe Wanderers 2, Aldershot Town 1. The Blue Square Bet Premier, Braintree Town 2, Mansfield Town 1. Cambridge United 2, Barrow 1. Ebbsfleet United 1, AFC Telford United 3. Forest Green Rovers 0, Southport 1. Hereford United 1, Gateshead 1. Lincoln City 2, Tamworth 1. Newport County 2, Alfreton Town 0. Nuneaton Town 3, Hyde 1. Stockport County 0, Dartford 1. Woking 5, Macclesfield Town 4. And Wrexham against Kidderminster, an evening kick-off at 5:15. Into Scotland and the William Hill Scottish Cup semi-final. The match went to extra time and finished Hibernian 4, Falkirk 3. The Irn-Bru Scottish Division 1, Airdrie United 1, Partick Thistle 2. Greenock Morton 0, Dunfermline 1. Livingston 0, Hamilton Academical 3. And Wraith Rovers 0, Cowdenbeath 1. The Scottish Division 2, Albion Rovers 1, Ayr United 3. Alloa Athletic 1, Forfar Athletic 0. Brechin City 2, Arbroath 0. East Fife 1, Stenhouse Muir 2. And Queen of the South 2, Stranraer 0. The Scottish Division 3, Berwick Rangers 4, Queen's Park 1. East Stirlingshire 1, Annan Athletic 2. Elgin City 3, Montrose 2. Rangers 2, Clyde 0. And Stirling Albion 0, Peterhead 1. The Corvette Sports Welsh Premier, Aberystwyth Town 0, Newtown 0 is a latest score. Bala Town 4, Avon Lido 0. Bangor City 2, Carmarthen Town 0. Gap Connors Quay 4, Llanelli 2. And Port Talbot Town 4, Prestatyn Town 1. Lastly, the Danske Bank Irish Premiership, Ballina-Mallard 0, Glentoran 0. Cliftonville 3, Linfield 2. Crusaders 2, Coleraine 1. Donegal Celtic 1, Ballymena United 4. Glenavon 7, Lisbon Distillery 0. And finally, Portadown 1, Dungannon Swifts 1.
And there's one late kick-off to tell you about. Still playing, but it's Notts County 3, Colchester United 1 in League One. Let's have a little look then at the tables. And Manchester United and Manchester City, as they were at the top of the Premier League, but that table makes very happy reading for Arsenal. They're up from 5th to 3rd after that dramatic turnaround against Norwich. Everton have now opened up a 5-point gap over Merseyside rivals Liverpool. At the bottom, the relegation positions haven't changed, but Reading are now level on points with QPR after they battled out that draw with Liverpool. Very little movement overall in the bottom half. Sunderland have a crucial match at Newcastle tomorrow, and Stoke also desperate for points up against Manchester United. To the Championship, Cardiff have 1 foot in the Premier League, you think, after a comfortable 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest. Watford's defeat at Peterborough leaves the Bluebirds 12 points clear of them in 3rd with 4 games remaining. Fellow promotion chasers Hull won 2-1 at Ipswich, while Bolton moved into the playoffs with a 2-1 win at Bristol City. Good day for Blackburn Rovers and Peterborough, who moved out of the bottom 3 with victories over Derby and Watford respectively. Wolves dropped into the dreaded drop zone after losing 3-1 at home to fellow strugglers Huddersfield Town. Barnsley move into the bottom 3 after a 6-0 thrashing at the hands of Charlton, whose future is now safe. And into League One, Doncaster retaining their place at the top of the table after a battling comeback at Crewe. Bournemouth also won today, so both clubs will be in the playoffs at the very least. Heartbreak for Bury. They're relegated to League Two after losing to Oldham. Hartlepool earned a stay of execution after earning a shock win at Tranmere, but they remain second from bottom. Not looking good for Portsmouth either. And let's have a little look at League Two. Already promoted Gillingham could have been confirmed as champions, but they weren't. They lost 1-0 at Cheltenham. We'll have to wait a bit. Port Vale's party's also on hold. A 2-2 draw at Rochdale, coupled with victories for Burton Albion and Cheltenham, means they're yet to confirm their promotion. At the bottom, Basement Boys Aldershot went down 2-1 at Wickham. York City, however, moved out of the relegation places with a crucial 2-0 win at Northampton. And let's have a look at the Blue Square Prem. Well, Mansfield could have been celebrating the title, but that won't happen right now. They lost disastrously at Braintree. And Kidderminster could leapfrog them if they beat Wrexham in the late kick-off. Telford were already down at the bottom, but it's a sad day for Ebbsfleet and Barrow. Both clubs lost today, and thus both are relegated. But the big story, and I think it's the one that's going to dominate the talking points on Match of the Day tonight and the back pages tomorrow, just how, with a flick of a switch, a decision made by a peripheral shall we say, official, a couple of decisions actually that he made in the end can change the whole complexion of a game.
That just typifies what it's like to be a manager. Sat here watching a programme like that, and I'm so frustrated that somebody who was not even involved in the two teams has cost Norwich. Massive. I mean, you never know. It could even be the result that gets them relegated. There's no, you know, I can understand if he gets the corner right, if he gives a goal kick, because he's 10 yards from that decision and he can't get that right. How can he see 50 yards? It defeats me, Garth.
I have to agree. The decision that results in the corner that the linesman gives, it's under his nose. And Snodgrass, who's contesting it, is aghast. He can't believe that the linesman has given the corner. OK, they assemble themselves to defend the corner, and they seem to do that very successfully. But the linesman seems to think there's a pull. Everybody's pushing and shoving and pulling, and they get this decision against them. It's cost them the game.
Not one appeal, Garth, with it. Not one appeal from any Arsenal player. Not one looking round at the linesman. Everybody was just gobsmacked at what has he give? What's going off? He's blowing the whistle.
We were waiting to say, well, what's the decision? What's he given?
Well,
and of course we find out.
See for yourself on Match of the Day tonight and see if you can pick out why that particular player is picked out. But let's move to another game affecting the bottom of the table. Villa were up against Fulham today. They couldn't quite get the win. They had to share the spoils with Fulham. Paul Lambert talking to Ivan Gaskell now.
Paul, it was a tough game, a tight one. How do you feel about the point?
I think it could be a huge point. I thought we were excellent today. I really did. We had chances. We looked great, and listen, I know we drew, but I'm really pleased with the performance. I thought we were outstanding in certain parts. I thought we should have been a few goals up at half time. I thought the goalkeepers had some great saves. The second half we had chances, and we lost a goal through a little bit of bad luck, I think. And Fabian's tried to head it away, and it just came off him. But couldn't fault the lads for the performance.
Not from that,
well,
but the way referee
is
is
there commentating.
Ref's in a good
Match
position.
of the Day. Just a moment, Neil. Just a sec. Hold your horses. Jonathan Pearce at Villa Park commentating for Match of the Day. Saw this one for us. Jonathan, I guess, you know, you can see here the frustration in a way with Paul Lambert. His players did play well. They were in the lead, just not quite enough. But is that point just that step closer to safety? They'll feel a little bit more secure tonight, especially with the results affecting QPR and Reading.
Well, you know, their fate is going to be settled in their relegation big 6-pointers. They've still got to play Sunderland here and Wigan and Norwich away from home. They did create more chances. Mark Schwartz was in excellent form, saving 2 good Charles and Zogbia efforts in the first half. I thought he was brilliant for Aston Villa, and they didn't look the same side after he was hauled off with 22 minutes to go. The Fulham goal was fortunate. Delph was trying to clear a corner kick and headed beyond his own goalkeeper. Fulham looked languid at times, but Berbatov, though he wasn't the game's best player, was the game's most skillful player. If you get a chance to see him in a Fulham shirt before he finally leaves our shores, then go and watch him. He is absolutely pure class. They're nearly safe. I think Villa, because of the way they have played in recent weeks, will win a couple of those important matches to come, and I think they'll be OK.
Thank you very much, JP. Well, all the day's goals. There are 10. At one point, there was 1 until about 50 minutes into the day. On BBC One tonight with Gary, Alan Hansen and Martin Keown at 10:20. Match 32 tomorrow. That should be a good one as well on BBC One at 10:25 with Colin Murray and Lauro and Jason Roberts. There's a time weird derby, and Manchester United, of course, trying to put that derby defeat behind them at Stoke, who desperately need points. And don't forget, the FA Cup semi-finals are covered on the BBC as well on 5 Live at 5:15 today, Millwall Wigan, and then tomorrow Chelsea against Manchester City at 4 o'clock. Let's talk a bit about Villa and their performance in particular today. They've had no problem scoring goals, have they, of late? Just couldn't quite get that winner, though.
I think today the performance was about Fulham. I mean, Fulham are pretty much safe. They gave a first-class performance today. At no stage did they play as though the season was over, and it was Villa that found it very difficult. There were 2 opportunities, one for Benteke and Delph, that could have put the game beyond Fulham, and they failed to do that.
I think Paul will be disappointed. I don't know whether he stands there normally, but I don't understand why you have the smallest man on the pitch in the near post area when you've got a corner. Delph's there, and he's flicked it on because he's maximum. I don't understand that really, but it cost him, didn't it? Because
it's not unusual for the corner, taking the corner, to not to miss the first man. Drogba was fantastic at it. Heskey in his heyday, when he played for England, he was the first man. Edge of the 6-yard box would defend that corner. Delph was the smallest person and couldn't do it.
QPR defeat at Goodison Park. Are they down?
Yes.
That's that one wrapped up then. Reading?
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid so.
A nice display of fight in periods today for the Berkshire club.
I mean,
you've got to say they're down as well then.
I know it's my old club as well, but they've got Stoke and Reading next 2 games, QPR. And if they did get 6 points, it would make the last 3 games interesting. So
Well, before today, Harry said he needed 13 points from the remaining, was it 16, 17 games? So points. So it's impossible. I don't see it.
I know. I agree with you, but I'm just saying they are quite capable of winning the next 2 games. But it looks like they're down.
Commiserations to Bury as well, down today to League 2, and of course in serious financial problems as well. So a sad day for them and their fans. Guys, I've enjoyed having your company, chewing the fat over the last 3 hours or so. Stay with us though. There's plenty more to come. That's just about it from us here on BBC One, though. We are on the red button. We'll have plenty more reaction. I bet you want to hear Chris Hughton's thoughts as well on those decisions that affected his team today at the Emirates. We're here till 6 o'clock. Stay with us if you can. Thanks, though, guys, and we'll see you next week. BBC One, 4:30. Bye-bye.